Hey guys, back with another video. We're doing a 67 to 72 C10. Got a really nice candidate from a customer I'm doing. We're going to be doing some rocker and cab repair on this also. I might be making a video of that if you guys want to learn how to do your rockers and cab corners. I like to cut them behind the trim. If you got trim on your truck, it just takes away from having to do tons of body work or whatever, you know, not tons. If you do your cab corner right, you'll weld them in right. But yeah, this is a really nice solid truck. Just got done with this one from a customer. It was his first truck, so he was really excited to get it cut down. It was a long bed. It's got a long ways to go, but you know, I treat every vehicle, whether it's this nice to this nice, with all the same respect and do the same quality of job. I don't try to do any better. I uphold myself to a certain quality on these trucks. Guys pay me good money to do them, and I enjoy doing them. I don't have to go weld every day for a living no more. This is what I get to do. So what I'm going to do first is remove this bed and the back bumper, which you guys know. You got take out the bed bolts, pretty simple, and back bumper. And then I'll be removing the front bumper, 4 body bolts underneath, and 2 front core support bolts. And then I'm going to drain the antifreeze. And if you guys got any transmission lines, yeah, you got to remove those. They're going to leak. This is a standard truck, pretty basic. Take the gear shifter out. Remove the drive shaft. I'm going to take that Monday and have it cut down and rebalanced by Drive Shafts of Tulsa. Good guys do me a great job. Install a new carrier bearing, cut it, rebalance it. Like I said in other videos, don't try to cut down your own drive shaft and think it's going to work out, because it's always going to have a vibration or a wobble. Take the chance of knocking out rear seals or running vibrating at a certain speed going down the road, and that's not good either. So I mean, it's $130 to have your drive shaft cut down and a new carrier bearing installed. So if you're skipping out that cheap. But the thing on this build is I'm going to try to do this in 4 to 5 days, complete start to finish. We're talking take the cab off, take the bed off, cut the frame, fish plate it, weld it back up, put the cab on, do the cab corners, do the rockers, and cut the bed. And there might be some long hours in these videos. Well, you guys ain't going to see it, but I'll fast forward to when I'm got it apart. But yeah, and I'm not going to rush it. It's not going to be a rush job either. It's just I'm giving myself 4 to 5 days because I'm leaving to go to Pate swap meet next week, and the customer really like to have his truck before I go, so I'm going to try to knock it out before then. It's Saturday, working my weekends, and starting at 8 in the morning, and I'll probably be out here till 8 at night. But let's get after it, and I'll get back to you guys when we got the bed off and everything off of it, and I'll show you how to cut these frames, and then we'll get to the bed sides on this model pickup. So see you guys then. All right, here we are. Got the bed removed, and these bed bolts, I had to cut most of them. The reason why is, I don't know, they had some kind of coating on them. They just wanted to spin. I even cut a slit. Another little thing you can do to get these bolts removed, speaking of cutting the split, if most of your bolts are factory and ain't got a bunch of coating on them, you can cut a slit in it from the top and put a screwdriver in it, and to keep it from spinning while someone sits up there and holds it down from the top. So it really does, yeah, it takes 2 people. But most of these bolts I had to end up cutting. But yeah, like I said, there's 8 bolts in it total. Take your tail light wiring out, pull it down. I just do it while it's down. Remove the tailgate bumper because I'm gonna be cutting this bed too. So yeah, I got that removed. So now see, I make a little checklist of everything so I don't miss nothing. This is just me. I mean, you guys do it your way. But there's for the bed, tail lights, back bumper, tailgate, bed bolts. And then here's where I'm going to start with the cab. And it's quite a list to get it off there. So you guys take a look at everything I'm removed on that. So we'll start working on the cab now. How to put that on side. Now, always unhook your battery. Start with. You don't want to be unhooking wires or anything like that and arc out, especially starter wires of that nature. So I'm gonna get after it. You got the start with the 2 cab bolts in the back, 2 in the front, 2 in the core support. Remove the front bumper, unhook your steering, drain the radiator. This was a standard, so I got to take the gear shifter out. You know, unhook your e-brake cable. This one's got a clutch pedal. You got a couple frame grounding wires on these trucks. Look for those, unhook those, because when you're taking them off, you'll break them if you don't. And then you can't hook them back up. It's always good to have as much ground as you can from the cab to the chassis. So I'm going to get after it, and I'll get back when we got the cab removed, and then I'll show you how to Z-cut these frames. So I'll see you then. Alright, we got it off the cab off the frame. Here it is. About to power wash it and go ahead and make our cut right in here. I'll give you guys a layout on that, get a video on that. Well, after we get it laid out, you got to move the body mount right here back 1 foot. Cut this body mount off, just cut it completely off. Don't need it no more. 8 inches off the back. Re-drill the holes, bumper holes. A lot of these from the factory, I mean most of them do. See, you got these 2 holes here. Well, from the factory, they give you new bumper holes there, and it's the same holes. So just to know that. So yeah, I've been at it for about 5 hours, and the whole truck's disassembled now. And so I'll get it laid out after I wash it and show you guys how to cut these. Well, here's the layout on these frames. 6772. I got the frame cut in half just to kind of demonstrate a little easier, so it's easier on the eyes. So what you're going to need to do is go measure, make your first mark. I measure about 2 inches from this mount right here over, and then measure over 12 inches, and then another 12 to 24. And then I usually cut the frames in half right off it. Oh, I'll lay everything out first. You know, you're gonna have 12 here left, and you can see where I put cut out, so that's gonna be cut out. Same way here, cut up top, just the opposite, and that'll leave you like a puzzle piece. You're gonna have your top left here and your bottom left there, and those come together like a puzzle, and you'll be able to weld them. So the whole thing with the Z-cut is, that makes it way stronger than a straight cut is, when this on top is sitting on top of that, and you have 12 inches of weld across here and back up, they're interlocked. And then you put a fish plate on side and lock off all 4 plates together pretty much, or 2 plates, whatever you want to call it, all 4 corners. And you got a weld over that. Man, that thing ain't never going to go nowhere. It'll break anywhere else in the frame but there. A straight cut, you're just going to have this much weld area holding your whole frame back together, and there's nothing it's setting on top of. It's just setting right there, man. I mean, you know that's got to be better with this on top of that and then welded back together rather than this butted up to that and just welded down. It's got an easier way to break like this. Well, when this is setting on top of this, where is there to give when they're locked in? Nowhere. So that's why I recommend the Z-cut hell of a lot over the straight cut or even the angle cut, because when you do an angle cut, it gives you a little more weld area, but you're still easy to break. So that's the whole reasoning behind the Z-cut. But like I said, 2 inches over, measure 12, 24, make your marks, measure halfway down the frame, it should be around 3. Make your, I make 2 lines here as you can see, and I cut in right in between those 2 lines. I go a 16th over and a 16th, and then with my speeds, I got a little adjustable square so I can adjust it up and down, and I make 2 lines and I just cut right in the middle of those. And now as you can see, my frame's a little jagged here like that. Well, you see my arrows, I want that as right on, so you know you got a 16th disc on that grinder. So like this right here, I cut to the other side of the line, right on the back side of the line, and then over here you can see how it goes like that. That's because I cut on this side of the line to leave as much area so when my fit up comes back, it's super close. I mean, you know, because when I was doing them before, I just hurry up and cut them, and there'd be gap here, gap there, and which gap don't matter, but when you start getting up there 3/16 quarter-inch gaps because of a mess up, that really sucks. So welding it back up. I like a little gap, and as you see my fit up, I actually grind back into this frame, and I will do, get a full pin. I'll weld it up with the V groove in it, and then I'll grind the back, and I'll weld the back up, and then I grind it down smooth. Not all of it on the inside, but the outside would be all ground smooth and looking good. You wouldn't even know it's cut down really. And then I grind where the fish plate's going to go. So, like I said, that's basic layout. Easy to do. You got to take your cab off. It sucks. But it's safe, and it's the right way to do it. Any professional will tell you that. So I'll get back to it tacked up and back together, and I'll show you what it looks like all tacked up. On another note, after you use that as a reference point to measure off of, I always move. So you see where I say that. You remove that top front bed mount brace. I grind them and just knock them off. Chiseling them off just takes, my chisels get wore out quick because of that. I used to chisel them all off. I just got a good grinder, and I grind the heads off. I knock them out. Same way here. Grind it. Take your time on that though, because them little, you ain't gonna need that no more. That's going away. But you're gonna have to remove that and move it back 1 foot. Re-drill the holes, and I get anchor carriage bolts, and so it looks like a factory head rivet after it's painted, and bolt it back on. Just measure down, get your height, measure over 1 foot from this hole, 1 foot from that hole, 1 foot, 1 foot, make your 1 foot marks, and draw a straight line, and measure down from the top to where the center of the hole is going to be. After you get that knocked off, measure those, and then come over here, measure down to where that center of that hole is going to be, make your new marks, and center punch them and drill them. It's that easy. This way takes a little more time, but it's the only way I do it, man. I've cut them every way. When I was younger, I was like everyone else, straight cuts, angle cuts, cutting them back here, and then having to beat that damn cutting the heads off the rivets of that cross member and have to beat that because you got trailing arms here. And if you cut it back here behind the cab, like you can do on the 73 to 87, which they're leaf spring trucks, is why you can get away with it, and the frame's a little different. It's a nightmare. You got to beat that all in, make sure that's all square back in there on your trailing arm cross member, and all kinds of sort of stuff, And it's no less work than, I took this cab and bed off in probably 4.5 hours. But I do have a lift. So if you don't have a lift, use it. You got a heavy duty cherry picker, which I got and I've used before and done them. And I built a jig. There's videos on YouTube. It's easy to build one of them jigs that can go inside your cab and jack it right off there and pull it straight back and off your frame. I always didn't have lifts at times, or they were tied up and I didn't have a chance, so I had to do it that way. So don't let it discourage you. But the number one thing is Z-cut and a competent welder. Do not let your muffler guy. Don't get me wrong. There's some good muffler welder guys out there, but they say take it down to your muffler shop and let them weld up. Get somebody that knows what they're doing, please. A certified welder or someone with a lot of years of welding experience. There's a lot of bullcrap weld. Trust me, I've been in the welding industry. I was in it welding, all code work and working in vessel shops, doing stuff for refineries and building 200-foot storage tanks out in the field, and in shop pipe and all that. And dude, you gotta hear. There's the amount of bull crap that comes out of welders' mouths will blow your mind. Every welder's the best welder on the planet. I can tell you that right now. I've heard it all. So, and the most 90% of them guys suck. But they're better than the local muffler guy. I'm not going to lie about that. I'm not dogging the muffler guy. I'm just saying There's a reason he's welding the mufflers and not welding the pressure vessel that's holding thousands of pounds PSI and doing code work, and he's down at the muffler shop. You know, I'm not dogging that guy. There's this place for everybody in this world. I'm just saying there's a reason he's there, and that's all I got to say. And I'll get back to the video when I get this all tacked up. All right, I want to touch base on a couple things before we move on to tacking this up. Haven't rounded that corner. You really need to round those corners. It's really good. Sharp edges are known to crack out. I even stick my grinder up in there. Some guys get a hole saw, drill their hole, cut out a perfect rounded part, and then use it back here to mark the same. And that's a good idea, man. I have to go through a lot of hole saws. I go through a lot of trucks, so I just use the grinder, get a good rounded edge on them. Something you'll thank me for later. Grind your inside for your fish plate now, because it's tougher to get that grinder in there afterwards. I always clean up my whole frame before I even put it together. That way it's all cleaned up. There's a little bit more I need to do. All that stuff there will be going through here, sliding up through there. Like I said, I get a compression union and redo the brake lines after I'm done and join them together. Cut the 1 foot out of the brake line, and that's good. Get that at any local parts store. Man, I really want to talk about what I said earlier too. I'm not knocking anybody on their welding skills or anything of that nature. I'm just saying, if you feel comfortable with your guy, use him. That's fine with me. I'm just happy everybody's out building trucks, having fun, getting to drive it, hopefully you're working with your kid or something of that nature and getting to enjoy this like I did growing up. I try to get my kids out here as much as I can and get them off them phones and stuff, but sometimes it's hard to do that. And they're missing out. I can tell you that because I grew up around this stuff, and it was awesome hanging out with my dad down there at his shop because he owned a automotive and restoration shop, and getting to build hot rods with him, my grandpa, and stuff I'll never forget, man. And I tell you, they're not going to have much to remember just sitting there on that phone saying they beat Fortnite or something on their cell phone. I don't know what's all on them phones. I'm 34. I'm not even that old, but I just love it out here, and I don't really pay. I'm not really big to stay in the house. I'm just happy everybody's out going to watch this video and maybe get out and work on their pickup. And if you're a muffler guy's a awesome welder, man, and you feel comfortable with him taking your truck down there, you go ahead and do that. That's fine with me. So I just got to hold up to a certain standard for myself and for my customers. And that's what all I really wanted to say in this video, and talk about cleaning this up a little bit. So I'll get back to when it's tacked up. We got it all welded up. I jumped a little ahead of myself. I know I said I'd come back when it's tacked up, but I've been, I just got ahead of myself. So yeah, that's what it should look like when it's welded up. I'll show you what it's going to look like ground down. And then I'll give you a full video of it fully welded and ground and cleaned all up with the fish plates on the inside. And I'll come back with the 100 grit on my spin-on style disc on my little air grinder, and clean that all up, and then you won't even know it was ever welded up. So I'll get back to you with the end result. Alright guys, got it all welded back up. Got my logo fish plate in it, CC, so I know it's trucks, because people take credit for other people's stuff. I've had that a lot. But that's what it should look like. Knocked off that mount. Move the body mount back 1 foot. And all you got to do on the back now is remove that 8 inches right there. And that's really it to cutting one of these trucks down. Like I said, 12 out of the front, under the cab, total, and then 8 off the back. So this is wrapping up this video, and I'll be making a part 2 of the bed cut down, and then you'll see a complete truck start to finish within the matter of days. We're on day 2 now, so I'm hoping you day 4 or 5, this truck will be wrapped up. Alright, catch you guys on the bedside videos.